I'm Sally Greenberg. I'm CEO of the National Consumers League, and I want to welcome you here today. We are co-hosting this conference with GW. And on behalf of NCL, I am so pleased to see all of you here to talk about artificial intelligence and consumer fraud, risks, responses, and policy solutions. For more than 30 years, NCL has made the fight against against fraud one of our central missions. Since the early 1990s, when fraudulent telemarketing schemes were spreading across the country, we recognized that protecting consumers means not just reacting to scams after the fact, but anticipating where the next threats are and where they're coming from and mobilizing quickly to counter them. From warning families about deceptive sweepstakes scams and phony health products in the 1990s, to sounding the alarm on identity theft and online fraud in the 2000s, to helping consumers spot the warning signs of fraudulent use, peer-to-peer payment apps, grandparent scams, cryptocurrency kiosks, and other new payment methods in recent years, NCL has stayed ahead of the curve. Today we're here because the landscape is shifting once again. Artificial intelligence, while full of promise, is also creating powerful new tools for bad actors. Fraudsters are deploying deepfakes, voice cloning, and hyper-targeted phishing schemes at a scale and speed we've never seen before. Consumers are caught off guard, and regulators and policymakers are racing to keep pace. That's why gatherings like this are so important. They give us the opportunity to bring together advocates, policymakers, industry leaders, and academics to confront these emerging threats head-on. And true to NCL's history, begin charting a proactive path forward. Before we begin, I want to thank the people and organizations who made today possible. First, our deep gratitude goes out to Aurelian Portuguese and the George Washington University Competition and Innovation Lab for hosting us here at the Jack Morton Auditorium. Beautiful space. It used to be a set for the show Crossfire, for those of you old enough to remember that show. I also want to thank our generous sponsors at the platinum level, Amazon and JP Morgan Chase, and at the gold level, FICO and Google. Your support is helping to ensure that consumers' voices are front and center in the AI policy conversation. Now, to kick things off, I'm delighted to share a conversation I recently had with someone who needs no introduction. Journalist, author, podcaster, and longtime observer and writer about Silicon Valley, Kara Swisher. Kara planned to be here in person, but got called away on another assignment. So instead, she is joining us virtually. We sat down to talk about the fast-moving rise of AI-fueled fraud, how it's already affecting consumers, and what we should be doing and industry should be doing to stay ahead of it. So let's take a look. What are the risks to consumers of AI scams, and what can we do about it?
Like just the way people have scammed for centuries, and they have a lot more tools at their disposal, especially ones that seem believable, whether they're voice messages, people saying, I'm here, send the money, or, you think you're talking to the person you're talking. And so identity just becomes impossible to determine in a digital format unless you're seeing someone right in front of you. You can advocate for elections where we have people who think that it's important to protect the privacy of consumer information.
What steps should companies take to prevent AI fraud against consumers? Can you lay out some steps they should take, even if they're not doing it
There's
now?
always going to be a hacker out there. There's always going to be a thief, but they don't do nearly enough for protecting your identity. Telling you when your identity has been violated. They don't do enough of that. Having the right technology in place. Not running a business where taking your information is the business, right? They're all mad about hackers, but that's what they're doing. I don't expect them to do anything because there's no regulations on them. There's no ability to sue them. There's no ability to do anything. You can't sue these people. You can, at least you can sue, someone, you use a moisturizer, it burns your skin, you can sue them, right? You can't do that to tech companies because they're protected by Section 230.
How should consumers be informing themselves and educating themselves about these AI platforms?
So see how they work, and I would try different ones and look over what they're doing with the information and how accurate the answers are, because you're not going to do well unless you're an informed consumer. It just is, just unfortunately, you're not protected by the government and you're not protected by these companies, but you can protect yourself to at least understand them and not throw up your hands. Proactively use them in order to have control over them for you and your family.
I think that Kara's thoughts illustrate perfectly why we're here today. Protecting consumers from the coming wave of AI-fueled scams is a goal that we can and must get behind here in Washington and throughout the country and throughout our economy.